There can't be many businesses or industries more competitive than yours. Would that be a fair
A
statement?
lot of competition.
How long? How many years?
35 years.
35 years
Yeah.
you've been playing the game.
Yeah. But before I started Tommy Hilfiger, the brand, I had my own shops. I opened my own jean shops with my incredible savings of $150. And now this year we just ended with $10 billion.
Was that New York? You were in New York?
In New York,
So
yeah,
how did you
upstate
start
New
a
York.
business with $150?
I had $150 from working in a gas station nights in high school. And I bought 20 pairs of bell-bottom jeans from the streets of New York City. I put them in my Volkswagen Bug. I drove 4 hours to my hometown of Elmira, New York, and I sold them out of the trunk of my car to my friends at a profit.
And so what do? You parlay that into what?
Then I opened a small shop in a basement of a shoe store.
You were how old at this time? Like when you
I
did
was
your
18.
18 years old.
18 years old.
So why jeans? Why 20 bell-bottom
Because
jeans?
at that time, it was early 70s, Woodstock, Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, all the rock groups started coming to America and playing concerts, and I loved the way the rock stars looked. So I wanted to look like them. And I grew my hair long, I started wearing bell-bottoms and cool clothes because I couldn't play guitar to save my life. And I decided to sell cool clothes. You know, my parents wanted me to go to college. I said, there's no way I'm going to college. I'm going into business for myself. They laughed. They said, there's no way. My parents were angry at me. After I opened my first shop, I decided to open a few shops on college campuses. Jeans, sort of candles, incense, cool stuff at the time. But during that time, I thought maybe I could build my own brand. And I looked at brands like Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, and all these brands, and I said, that's what I'm gonna do.
So the day I met you, it was a Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. You didn't know who I was.
Well, I did because Oren.
Oren gave you a little. Is
Yeah.
Oren here? Did you see Oren?
I think he's coming by.
Okay. So I go to his house. His house is not for sale, by the way. And I go see it, but it was about a while back. So I go see his house on a Saturday. You want to tell them what you were doing Saturday, 3 Saturdays maybe, 3 Saturdays
yeah.
ago. What were you doing on a Saturday afternoon at your home?
There was a German TV station doing. I look
Oh,
at that and
please,
say,
hold on.
that's missing the flag. We should have the red, white, and blue flag on that one. And if
I think it's right here.
but it's not big enough. We need a bigger one on the chest. So
Well, I can't
next
help
time we
anything here,
design
Tommy.
that,
I mean-
we're going to give you a flag with it.
Okay, so man, it was very. This one was very. I was telling Tommy backstage. I was in New Zealand, and it was cold. It was like rainy. And some of you at that same event, you came here, you saw me, and then I went and I needed something because it was rainy and cold. And I walk in and I take a picture of Tommy, hey, and I say, hey, I'm in New Zealand and there's a store. And he's like, great, thumbs up probably. So I walk into the store and I'm looking at this thing, and it says like 280, almost 400 Kiwi dollars, which is like 280 US. I'm like, damn, that shit is expensive. And I'm like, I know Tommy Hilfiger, and she goes, sir, everyone says they know Tommy Hilfiger here. So that discount did not work that day. But let's talk about overall the brand
Sure.
today, Tommy Hilfiger. How many stores? How big is it?
Okay, we have approximately 2,000 stores in the world, and we will do about 10 billion in retail sales globally. And I started out as a teenager with $150 and 20 pairs of jeans with one shop in Elmira, New York, my hometown. So while I was still in high school, I opened a shop selling jeans. And then it was my dream to have my own brand. So through lots of trials and tribulations, it eventually became the brand. And it started growing in the US. And we opened a store in London, and then in Paris, and then in Milan. And now the business is bigger in Europe than it is in the States. But it's all over. I mean, we have it in China, in India, South America, Central America, Indonesia, all over the world.
So when you started and you said to Tommy Hilfiger, this is what I want the brand to stand.
Yeah.
How many years has it been now?
We're going on 40.
Okay.
We're 38 and a half years now.
Say 38 years later, is it exactly what you thought it would stand, or it has morphed into something because maybe something worked or it's different? So explain the difference from when I started, this was my vision for what I wanted, and to where it is today, to see if there's been any deviation of the brand or just an amazing alignment from day one.
I always wanted the brand to be accessible, great quality, casual, fun, sort of the life story of how I live my life. I have a bunch of kids. I've got a beautiful wife who is also a designer, and we're pretty normal, but we also live an interesting life, traveling all over the world and meeting different people. I do a lot of collaborations with people from the entertainment world, Hollywood, music world. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gigi Hadid or Zendaya, Lewis Hamilton. I've done things with Beyonce, I've done things with Jennifer Lopez, I've done things with
Grant Cardone.
The Rolling Stones, with Lenny Kravitz. So I like mixing entertainment, music, and pop culture into my brand. And I say that my brand stands for FAME, F-A-M-E, fashion, art, music, and sports.
And so when you look at your world, like I see and I talk about this here, like it's like you've erased the line. Probably more heavy on the arts than business. But it appears that my art is being moved with you, but I'm doing business with you as a result.
I think you have to connect with the emotion of the consumer, and you have to give the consumer something that they don't know they want yet. And that's what we're always doing. What next? I mean, what does that consumer, what do people want to wear next? What color do they want to wear next year? What colors? The sneaker craze we were into 20 years ago, because my prediction was that most people were going to wear sneakers or soft-soled shoes in the future, and most likely people would no longer be wearing hard shoes.
And do you wear other people's clothes, or is it all yours? Because I was in your closet.
No, I like to try other people's clothes because I want to see what they're doing right or wrong. I'm always very curious as to what other people are doing.
And so when you look at fashion, are you doing something? How much of that are you thinking about the business of it? Is this going to make money? Is that a consideration?
Well, I tell you a quick little story. I started my business when I was 18, but when I was 23, I went bankrupt with my shops, with my stores, because I didn't know anything about business. So at that point in time, I was so devastated, I decided to teach myself how to manage the business part of the business. And when I speak to students who are creative, who want to be a designer, or want to be in the fashion world, I say, learn about the business. And if you put the creativity with the business acumen, you'll win. Youthful and sort of preppy with a twist, because I think that's what people wear. People wear classics, but they want special classics. And that's what I set out to do. And I have never veered from that. So at times we crank it up for the runway, for a fashion show, and make it even more special, but that's a limited audience. Most people buy classics, but special classics from us.
So sometimes people see the fashion show, and whatever they have in the fashion show, the model working down, it's not really something that people will buy. It's almost like a concept car. With you, when there's a collection, I've seen the pictures, and it ends up in the stores as well. What's the reasoning with some people saying, let me have some clothes that ultimately I'm not going to put into the store? As opposed to you, it's like, okay, this is a commercial, I like it on the model, now I see it in the store. Why are there some brands where the clothes that they've showcased is not really in the store?
It's like when Mercedes puts out a concept car. They probably will never build it, but it just shows that Mercedes is innovative. So it's almost like putting something out on the runway that will entice the consumer into embracing the brand. But very few of many of those runway looks will ever arrive on the selling floor.
And so the concept of Tommy Hilfiger, I've never seen something, oh my God, that's outrageous, I would never wear that, or that's crazy, right? It's like you said, it seems to be for everyday people. What's the idea of doing something so outrageous? You know, you see the large dress and they're just over the top. Is that an attention thing? Like from a business standpoint of marketing, what's the marketing of putting something like the Lady Gaga meat dress? I'm giving you an idea, right?
Yeah.
It's so outrageous.
Well, it's a marketing thing. And a lot of designers want to be perceived as artists. And they don't even try to make clothes that people will really wear because they look at it as art. Those clothes are usually super, super expensive. But I'm a business builder. I like the idea of being a creative person with a business mind. And I blend the two.
Where did the business mind? Because a lot of creative people are very creative, but they don't understand the business component. For example, if it's gonna cost too much of this, we need to sell it to someone, right? So where did the business acumen come from?
Well, I had a bankruptcy when I was 22 years old as a result of overexpanding my first retail venture. And I didn't really understand the business. But as a result of that, which was, I look at it as my master's degree, because I never went to college. I started my business, as I said, out of high school. I never went to college. So I looked at that as my master's degree of having a bankruptcy, because what it taught me was what not to do. And then I taught myself how to really understand the business part of the business. And recently opened a Tommy Hilfiger fashion business school as part of Elmira College in my hometown. And it's about the business of fashion, because most of the fashion schools teach design and the artistic part, the creative part, but they don't teach anything about the business. So sadly, these graduates go out and fail most of the time when they start their own businesses because they don't know anything about the business.
So you noticed this shirt didn't have, let's say, a bigger flag
Yeah.
or this. Let's say there's 1,000 new pieces